And also tonight, we'll be joined by the Indian team which won the just concluded Blind Cricket World Cup for the first time. They will be joining us in the studio. But first, it's been a proud moment for both India and Pakistan today. Kailash Satyarthi and Malala Yousafzai have been honored with the Nobel Peace Prize today. Indian child rights activist Satyarthi is the 7th Indian to be conferred the honor. Pakistani teenager Malala Yousafzai, who stood up against the Taliban, is the 2nd from her country and she is the youngest Nobel laureate. The Nobel Committee described both laureates as champions of peace. While Malala vowed to stand up for the rights of forgotten and frightened children and raise their voice rather than pity them, India's Satyarthi said receiving the prize was a great opportunity to further his work against child slavery. Both laureates promised to bridge together the gap between the two nations, saying it was easier to build tanks than to build schools.
I'm also honored to receive this award together with Kailash Satyarthi, who has been a champion for children's rights for a long time, twice as long, in fact, than I have been alive. I'm proud that we can work together. We can work together and show the world that an Indian and a Pakistani, they can work together and achieve their goals of children's rights. Why is it that countries which we call strong are so powerful in creating wars but are so weak in bringing peace? Why is it that giving guns is so easy, but giving books is so hard? Why is it that making tanks is so easy, but building schools is so hard? Let us become the first generation that decides to be the last, that sees empty classrooms, lost childhoods, and wasted potentials.
In every wave of every ocean, I see my children are playing and dancing. Today, in every plant, in every tree, in every mountain, I see children are growing freely with dignity. Mahatma Gandhi said, if we are to teach real peace to the world, we shall have to begin with the children. I humbly add, let us unite the world through the compassion for our children. Today, I see thousands of Mahatma Gandhis, Nelson Mandelas, Martin Luther Kings calling on us. Let us democratize knowledge. Let us universalize justice. Together, let us globalize compassion. I call upon you in this room and all across the world. I call for a march from exploitation to education. I call for a march from poverty to shared prosperity, a march from slavery to liberty, and a march from violence to peace.
That's right, the Nobel moment, the speeches of Satyarthi and Malala Yousafzai, will it be a bridge for Indo-Pak peace? That's the big question that I'm raising here on the News Today at 9. Will this be a moment that can be a bridge for Indo-Pak peace? Joining me on the panel, G. Parthasarathy, former High Commissioner to Pakistan, is with me in the studios. I'm also joined by Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the Congress Party, Sudhindra Kulkarni, political commentator and columnist, and someone who's been travelling now often to Pakistan. GBL Narasimha Rao is of the BJP. And from Pakistan, I'm joined by Major Jamshed Ayaz Khan, President, Institute of Regional Studies from Islamabad. And my first question is to you, Mr. Ayaz Khan. Am I romanticizing this entire issue by asking this question, even suggesting that this one moment could be a bridge between two countries that have had more than a few wars between them?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. By saying this, you won my heart, because it is from my heart that I am speaking, that these two have done wonders, and the world has now recognized them, both of them. I think it's the right time and the right step to move Pakistan and India together. We have wasted years and years together on wars. For what reason, I cannot understand. I've been an army man, but I cannot understand why we go to war when we can do so much with peace. I think because now it's not possible for Pakistan and India to go to war. We are both nuclear powers. So I think we should understand this.
Sir, I just want to know, sir, I just want to know, and I should tell my producer to Super that you are speaking to us from Islamabad. I want to know from an Islamabad perspective. Let's be clear. Malala Yousafzai and Kailash Satyarthi are ambassadors of peace. Can they though take on the forces in your country who perhaps will want war to continue? Can they take on those extremist forces? Can they take on the merchants of terror? Let's be clear. That am I romanticizing the entire issue when I say a Nobel Peace Prize is going to be a bridge between the two countries?
I think you got it all wrong. Pakistan wants peace. Pakistan army wants peace with India. And you should have no doubt on this. I've been an analyst for 25 years. And I can say this for sure. But India has to take the first step. Their leader has to grow 6 feet tall, more than 6 inches.
I am asking you, sir. Sir, let me make it even more simpler. Do you believe a Malala Yousafzai is a symbol, a role model for Pakistanis of today? Is she a symbol and a role model? She can't even come back at the moment to Pakistan. She can't even come back to her hometown in Swat. Let's be clear. I want to know whether you believe that she can be a role model and a symbol for peace, sir.
See, I think you are not clear. You just don't know what's happening in Pakistan. You're making it all up like most Indians do. So I think, try to understand this. Malala Yousafzai can come to Pakistan and she can be a role model. And I want to bring peace to this country. What to talk about somebody else? I've been in the war, army in the war. I've been twice in the war also. So I think I know better than you that we want peace. And India and Pakistan have to ensure that peace is there.
Okay, those are good words. Those are fine words. And I'm just wondering, Mr. Parthasarathy, is today about fine words? It was wonderful to hear Malala Yousafzai speak. It was wonderful to hear Kailash Satyarthi speak. But do you believe that this was just one moment, which perhaps we can't get carried away with?
Let me describe the two individuals. She's an incredible girl, slightly older than my granddaughter, but seems to have a vision far beyond her years in age. Kailash, I think, was really an incredible person, very low-key, very modest, and very genuine about what he said about children. He was not sort of looking at long visions, but what he represented. Now, the fact of the matter is, Rajdeep, that yes, this is a good event. Will it bring India-Pakistan peace? You have heard the general. We've also heard Hafiz Mohammad Saeed just less than a week ago in Lahore. Hafiz Mohammad Saeed enjoys the support of the military and the Pakistan Muslim League. So let us be very, very clear and not romanticize this.
So you're saying, I'm going to ask my producer to just stick to those shots of Malala and Satyarthi, because those are the visuals of the day. Are you saying that these visuals are simply, at the end of the day, a little more than it's purely symbolic? It's romantic. We are being romantic by looking at these two individuals. Are we getting carried away by the moment?
As I see it, human beings appear at their very best. You can promote that by promoting people-to-people contacts of the sort we are seeing far more, and both of us are guilty of not doing it.
You accept that? You accept therefore that our bureaucrats and our politicians have been a step behind civil society?
No,
let's be clear. That Malala and Kailash Satyarthi are a step ahead of the political and bureaucratic class.
No, I'm saying that they are that they represent what should be the views, or not necessarily the views, and therefore I favor people-to-people contacts. But you've heard the general talking of nuclear weapons. You've heard Hafiz Mohammed Saeed, and we have to be realistic. Move ahead with people-to-people contacts built on this, but it's a long exercise. I may not see it fructify in my lifetime. You perhaps may.
Can I just then take that? Can I take that to Sudhindra Kulkarni? Can I take that? Because Sudhindra Kulkarni now promotes people-to-people contact between India and Pakistan. Sudhindra Kulkarni, do you really believe that people-to-people contact of the kind that you're now engaged in can bridge the divide? That Malala Yousafzai and Kailash Satyarthi can become enduring symbols for a new generation?
You know, today is a proud day for the nearly 1.5 billion people in India and Pakistan. And if you just heard the speeches of both Malala and Kailash Satyarthi, they really were speaking for the silent majority in both India and Pakistan who want peace, who want cooperation, and who want to see the past actually be pushed behind so that we have a new future. You know, India-Pakistan relations are far too militarized. They are far too much under the control of bureaucrats and of politicians who don't want to move ahead. You know, they are really weak politicians. In Malala's words, they are strong in making war, but very, very weak in making peace. So these two leaders, you know, we have to be absolutely blind not to see them as one of the bridges between India and Pakistan. Not that they will on their own change the dynamics today. Now, I must also point out here, Rajdeep, that I agree with the Pakistani Major General who say that the situation in Pakistan is changing, especially towards India. There are, of course, Hafiz Saids and others, but they do not represent the entire mood and the public opinion in Pakistan. You know, just 6 days back, the Pakistani army chief, Rahil Sharif, said that our main enemy, is terrorism. The enemy is within us. The enemy looks like us. So they also understand that terrorism has become their enemy, not just an enemy. Of course, they have to take very solid steps, sincere steps to ensure that terrorism is not exported to India, in which they are failing.
Right.
And we must press them.
Can I just take that point?
Let us today savor the event. It's a great moment. The silent majority that wants peace is very happy that these two leaders have spoken for them.
Yeah, okay. You know, I take your point, you know, but I'm going to therefore press the two politicians. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, you first. You heard what Sudhindra Kulkarni said. You heard what Malala Yousafzai said. In a sense, what they are appealing to the political class is to rise above the past and look to the future. Yes, we've had the baggage of the past. Both countries carry the baggage of the past. And as Malala Yousafzai said today, it's easier to build perhaps tanks than it is to build schools. And you know, issues like education, issues like women's empowerment can link these two countries together, is what she was trying to suggest.
Rajdeep, this is not about two politicians or about political parties. Let me first of all congratulate the Nobel Committee for making an inspired choice. And the choice is not only clearly inspired, it is intended to be symbolic. Therein lies the fact that we can't over-romanticize it, and nor should we underplay it. Symbolism is important, and this is symbolism at its best. And therefore, irrespective of political color, we have to celebrate it.
Yes.
The second aspect, Rajdeep, is that it is not as if they are giving the joint Nobel Prize to Sadat and Begin, who had the power to have a handshake and change things. Malala and Satyarthi don't have that power. That is why it's symbolism.
So there is it empty symbolism? Is it therefore empty symbolism? Are you suggesting it's empty symbolism because they do not have the power to change the destinies of the people of the subcontinent?
Rajdeep, allow me to complete, please.
Yes.
I am saying this is very important, vital, significant and meaningful symbolism. It is symbolism which sets in chain a trigger of events which has consequences.
Is it going to change our political
true,
class? Is it going to change the army in Pakistan? Is it going to change the attitude on the border?
We have believed for years, and I as an individual have travelled more times to Pakistan than most individuals do, 6 times, without being in government service, all on my own. And I have believed this, and I've seen this being believed on both sides of the border, that people-to-people contact is the only way to lessen the tensions and to drop the barriers.
We keep saying that, and it is still so difficult to get visas. Let's be clear. You know,
I agree. Therefore, I'm saying I am not taking a starry-eyed, romanticized view of it at all. I also accept the fact that there is a qualitative difference, and while I celebrate with my friend across the border, I must, for realism, emphasize the qualitative difference between the conditions here and the conditions there. At the people level, both countries desire this. But the people's voice is silenced or terrorized or scared or frightened in Pakistan to a far greater extent than the Indian side of the border. It is the vast, overwhelming majority in Pakistan think like we do on this issue, but their voices are more liable to be silenced much more easily, and therein lies the difference. Today, Malala, had she belonged to India, could walk free in India. I don't think Malala, if she belongs to Pakistan, can enjoy the same degree